Welcome to the Nerd Cave News. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, and I'm joined along with, you need porta potties for your next event? Check out our 2-for-1 special from our official sponsor, Fecal Fetus Floyd and his Papa Squats. With us right now live is Fecal to tell us more. Fecal, how are you doing?
I don't like that name. It was the whole setup was good. It was read like one of those Better Call Saul advertisements, but do not like the name. I think this is one of the first names, I don't want to say ever,
Peeping
but
Tom.
in a long time
Peeping
where
Tom.
it don't hit.
Peeping
Oh
Tom.
yeah. Who could forget old Peeping Tom?
Okay. Do you want me to call you Fecal, Fetus, or Floyd?
Floyd.
Okay, Fecal it is.
Oh my God. If I would have said Fecal, see if I would have played reverse psychology. If I said Fecal, you would still went with it.
Yeah, that's how this works, Derek. I was going with Fecal regardless of what you picked. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Audible and Patreon. Audible is your one-stop shop for all your audiobooks, podcasts, and magazines that you need. I am currently reading a new book, and it is called, as it loads up, it is called All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and this is one of my first books that in a long time that I've went out of the Star Wars universe or a universe that I personally know, and I'm really enjoying the book. So go check it out. These audiobooks are done by first class narrators, no jokers around here, no Joe Schmoes in their closet thinking that they're a voice actor. No, these are quality narrators, and you can get a 30-day free trial right now by going over to audible.trial.com/nerdcave. That's audibletrial.com/nerdcave and get your free 30-day trial. No 7-day, 14-day trials. You get 30 blessed days just for you to try out.
Longer than most trials.
That's where you can go. Now, Derek, where can people go to become something more?
So if you want to become something more and be part of the exclusive crew over on patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members, Brandon Hicks, Richard Newell, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Waters Yoga, The Conductor, Marilyn James, and Brittany, the Granny Bee Harrison. Bow, 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 bow.
Guys, you can find the Nerd Cave News on all these different places, but this is the Nerd Cave News, where each and every week we run you through all the video game news that you need to know. You can watch us live on twitch.tv/Nerd Network on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central Time, or you can watch us over on YouTube later at youtube.com/Nerd Network. If you need bite-sized nuggets, you can check us out over on TikTok. That's the rigmarole. Let's get into our October Game Club game, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
I'm enjoying the game. I played some the other day, Derek, and
Okay.
I like things, but then I don't like them. Okay, so here are my complaints.
Okay.
My complaints / compliments. I like the improvements that we've gotten with the game.
Right.
Such as, okay, like if you got the rope arrow, you used to have to hit R1 to shoot the rope arrow instead of R2. Now it's all nicely done and all in one, Yeah. Which I like, just simplifying some things to make it better. They've made it, more, not necessarily open world, but you can tell it's kind of indicative of the times where they've added way more stuff to do.
For sure, especially the collectible hunting.
And I think you're a lot like me, Derek. If I can do it, I'm going to try to do it in the moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I don't
100%.
I don't want to come back to this. I don't want to have to like circle back if I've got all the tools necessary to do it, right? You feel that But my God, I feel like I'm slowly trudging through this thing because I'm picking up collectibles all the time
I, well, and
or
especially
side
like,
missions.
yeah, or like side missions, or like if you're searching around in like what was it, in the snowy or mountain region. I saw you could shoot down this little thing above this overhang. So I shot it down and it opened up a whole like underground cave, which led me to a tomb. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm doing this now. Going off the beaten
Yep.
path. Like I tried to slowly get to do the story and I kept getting distracted. So it's not wholly open world, but it's a big hub area.
Yeah, big hub area, but the game is great. Like I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
And guys, it's not too late to start the October Game Club. Right now, we're playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm enjoying it. If you played the first one, you definitely need to check out the second one. They're great games. Crystal Dynamics. It is a masterclass of just like the gunplay is so well. The traversal is really good. You could see like how many games have pulled off of Tomb Raider, Uncharted pulled off the original Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is now pulling off the Uncharted series, and then you look at, even Kano Bridge of Spirits, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, even pulls off of some of the traversal things as well. So guys, check it out. And you can also give us your suggestions for Game Club by using the command !Game Club in the chat, or you can use the link that will be in the description, guys. B said you had to raid a tomb. Interesting
Concept.
Yeah, you wouldn't ever know it. You wouldn't ever know it. So Derek,
Speaking of games where you have to raid stuff.
Yep. What you been playing, Derek? Let me know what you been playing.
So this week in particular, I haven't been playing too much stuff, but I did, have been slowly but surely playing through Kano Bridge of Spirits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know you talked about it a few weeks ago, your first thoughts when it first came out and everything. I've been playing it on stream, and
right.
Man, this game is so flippin' cute.
Yes, it is. The cuteness fact, just the rot in general. Like, the name alone, when you think of rot, you're like, oh, nasty, disgusting, bad, and they're like the cutest things ever.
So cute. And then like the little different hats that you can put on them. It's just, oh my God. Like anytime I get a new one, I'm just like, I've got a new baby. I got me a new baby that I get to take care of him and everything. I love the rot and the usability of them. They're not just something to collect. They're not just something to, like they're
Pikmin.
Yeah, they're Pikmin essentially. I'm really enjoying the game. It's kind of like Dark Souls-esque. You were talking about this like a few weeks ago. Like,
yeah,
it's very light, very Dark Souls light.
Yeah.
In that regards. I just got the bow and arrow, which adds a lot to it. Have you gotten that far?
Oh yeah, I'll say I think I have.
You've already got.
I have all the. I have all the weapons.
Okay. So I just got the bow and arrow on the last stream that we did Monday, and it adds a lot more to the game just having that one extra weapon. I know there's 3 in there, but it adds so much to it, to the versatility and everything.
And plus, like the further you get in the game, the more like different types of enemies, so that all the weapons will have to come into play at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially for long range, because there's a certain enemy. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's not like a boss, but it's like a mini boss where it doesn't give you any room to breathe, and I'm just like, please just stop.
With like the sap on him that you have to shoot and all of that.
Yeah.
I fought him with his boomerang trunk thing where he's like,
yes,
like I was like, oh my God, just get off of me, sir. Like, let me breathe in here.
Right. Well, and, there was times where I was like trying to like get my gain distance and use my bow and arrow, and it's like, nope. You square up.
Yeah. And like it's not like to the point where it's so unforgiving that you can't enjoy it. It's like, okay,
right,
I made a mistake. I've never had the game, other than falling off a cliff or falling off stuff, that's been okay. That was not me. That was the game. But like combat wise, my camera froze.
Uh-oh.
My camera froze.
No bueno.
There we go. Thank you for letting me know, Murdoch. You know, the combat's not where it's so difficult that you just can't sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
My one complaint, well, actually I've got two complaints.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna see what you think on this.
Okay.
I do not like the double jump. The double jump feels puny.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to wait to the very end of your first jump to activate your double jump, or you're not going to make it.
Right. So, funny enough, I was actually talking about this with someone else earlier in the week at work, because they had started playing through. They beat Kana, but they were telling me like one of their gripes was a double jump, mainly because it's like it feels like it's forced to use a lot of the time because like there'll be ledges. There'll be ledges like if they're above your head, like the double jump makes sense. But there are some ledges where if you jump, like your grapple ability won't kick in until you hit the double jump. Like I've had some ledges that are like at my nose, and I'll jump once and it won't grab on, but when I double jump, it'll catch on. I'm like, why is this necessary? That's over. It's useless.
Yeah, or where you're trying to span a distance and you jump, and if you double jump too soon, you miss it.
Yeah.
And it's like, like it's some Fallen Order tomfoolery in that regards.
Yeah. Right. And 100%.
What?
Oh, come on, man. You mastered the double jump in Fallen Order. What you mean?
I eventually did. But the thing that also gets me, there's one other complaint. The rest of the game I'm enjoying a lot. It's when you use the rot to like clean an area. Yeah. And it locks your camera. Like it does this weird, like it like just forces your camera. Yeah. And it's like, it's so hard to move. And it's like, why is this the choice that you made?
Right. Like I get you're trying to control the cleaning ability at the same time. It's like, why does it have to be a fixed like why when I move it, can't I just like move freely myself? Why do I have to be in this fixed position?
Yeah, it's very strange, and it takes you out of the immersion of what you're trying to do. And that's the whole point of the game, is to be immersed in this world. But when that happens, because you have to do it to, go further in the game, it's like, this doesn't feel good.
Well, it's even more so the fact of like, they split the sticks because you have to move yourself with the left and then control like the rot cleaner with the right analog stick, and it's like, and then there's a meter because you only have so long. I mean, you can always like reactivate it like that, but no problem. But when you're having to maneuver through and you're stuck and you can't see, don't have a good angle to see, it's like, why can't I change it?
Yeah, even if it was like, okay, if you hit L2 and changed your direction, like the way you viewed it, like you would like with pulling the bow or whatever, it's like if that like add that option into the game where I can change it to make it a little bit easier. It locks you're not able to traverse further, but you can at least turn with your character, Kana, you can do visually, you can move the camera. That would be at least something I would love for them to add to it, but it takes you out of it so much.
I know. Maybe because we talked about it shortly after the game released. Talking about doing new combat scenarios and encounters and whatnot. So maybe if they do future updates, maybe down the road they'll change something. But I guess for now it is what it is.
It is what it is, guys. Let's move into our gaming discussion for this week. First up, guys, G4 is back. It's back, baby. I've been watching a ton of their stuff over on their YouTube channel, which y'all should totally go check out. But G4 will officially relaunch next month, November, and you should totally check it out, guys. So, Derek,
I'm about to say, At long last, G4 will officially be making its return on November 16th, 2021. In 2021, G4 will launch not only quote the channel lineups of Verizon, Fios, Cox, and Xfinity TV, but it will also stream on Philo and collaborate with Twitch on a multi-year promotional and commercial partnership through G4's official Twitch channel. Channel-specific content will also be featured on G4's social platforms and YouTube. G4 programming is set to be delivered through a first-of-its-kind 24/7 broadcast studio, which looks to also serve as a collaborative workplace and professional esports and gaming environment. G4 Studio is located in Burbank, California, and is designed by Populous, the company behind Yankee Stadium, Red Bull HQ, and Esports Stadium Arlington. The official lineup at launch features the return of such classic shows as X-Play and Attack of the Show, alongside new shows like the weekly esports comedy series Boosted. The launch lineup, with descriptions from G4, is as follows. Of course, the leadoff, Attack of the Show. The original geek culture variety show returns with host Kevin Pereira and a brand new cavalcade of misfits. Irreverent and unscripted, Attack of the Show is a welcoming place for any fan who wants to spend a couple of hours laughing, watching epic stunts and hilarious sketches, and deep diving into the latest trends of the internet. From hilarious web videos to memes, to streaming of all types, to celebrity guests, to the weirdest tech, Attack of the Show is still the show that gets it before it gets out. Next up, my personal favorite, X-Play. X-Play used an extra life. The ultimate video game review show returns as a digital-first content brand that balances an authoritative loudmouth confidence with the absurdity of a public access comedy sketch show, all while somehow maintaining enough credibility to book interviews with top industry luminaries. X-Play is expanding the conversation with insightful and irreverent explorations into every game worth your while. AAA, indie, mobile, VR, retro, it's all on the table. Adam Sessler is back, joined by a group of hilarious experts to bring a brutally honest voice to the modern gaming scene. Side note, this feels like this description was written by Adam Sessler. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Next up is Boosted. Boosted is a weekly esports comedy series for curious gamers and esports fanatics alike. Boosted is that moment in-game when you realize you're the worst player in the lobby. We want to revel in the entry level as we approach gaming and esports as interns guided by our executive-level experts. Boosted will cover the latest trends, news, and tournaments in the esports world every week. Next up, we've got Ninja Warrior. The quest to summit the quest to summit Mount Midoriyama returns as G4 attains the exclusive linear broadcasting rights to Sasuke, better known as Ninja Warrior in the United States. From Tokyo Broadcasting System Televisions Incorporated, TBS, G4 will air all 167 episodes of the legendary competition series that pits heroic athletes of all types, from pro gymnasts to fishermen, to comedians against a 4-stage formidable and/or impossible obstacle course. G4 will also present 3 tournaments never before seen in the United States. Sasuke 35, 36, and 37. Next up is ESL Gaming. G4 has partnered with ESL Gaming, the world's leading esports and gaming lifestyle company, to produce and broadcast several primetime esports programs, a first for ESL Gaming in the US and Canada. G4's exclusive linear broadcast rights make it the premier destination for ESL Pro tournaments, or tour events, including the IEM Katowice 2022. I think I pronounced that right. And then lastly, Dungeons & Dragons Limited Series. Coming off the immense success of D&D Live 2021, featuring notable celebrities like Jack Black, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Smith, and Dr. Lupo, G4 will continue its partnership with Wizards of the Coast with an all-new limited-run series to premiere on G4 this fall. This series will follow 4 campaigns with a mix of G4 talent, veteran D&D players, and celebrities for a new generation of D&D fans. So, my good friend, how are you feeling about this lineup? Is it obviously we've got some staples, but are any of the newer ones, or any of the stuff that other stuff that sticks out, or just sticks out to you in general? Do you like? Or I know we're all just generally excited that G4 is coming back, but any of these that because I personally like outside of X-Play, I like the Boosted series they're going to do too.
Yeah, boosted sounds very interesting. Attack of the Show, like Attack of the Show was like TikTok, Instagram, like whatever, like the meme culture before it was like meme culture back in the day. Like that's how it was and everything. I'm curious to see who's going to be beside Kevin Pereira as like his like foil or to bounce off of. Back in the day we had Olivia Munn, we had, several different cast members back in the day and everything of Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. X-Play, that's the one for me. Like I don't care really about anything else other than X-Play, because no one in my time as a gamer has ever talked about games the same way as Adam Sessler. Like
100%.
When he Rev 3 kind of, stopped and he left and everything, and even went and worked on the Friday the 13th game, the whole time I was like, man, I just want him to write another review, because his review of BioShock Infinite is still my epitome of the perfect game review. The perfect game review. And seeing him come back is awesome. I wish we would get Morgan Webb back, but she's off doing her own thing and everything. I'd love to see.
We got the reunion. We got the reunions during E3s.
Yeah, we did, and we also like had her and Adam on the G4 Thanksgiving special. If you watch that,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Seeing Ninja Warrior come back, I'm just like, that's not for me. The reason why I feel like Ninja Warrior and Cops and Cheaters were the things that killed G4 back in the day.
Yeah, right.
And it's like,
it eventually became the Cops channel.
Yeah, it's like seeing this, I'm like, oh, it's already here. So hopefully, it will, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, but seeing the, their involvement with ESL, I'm really excited, that they're going to be continuing to do that, because they were already doing some esports stuff on their YouTube channel, as well as Dungeons and Dragons and everything. Like, I know it's not for everybody. I know, Murdoch's talking about it, D&D's dead to him. It's not his thing. He only watches Attack of the Show, the wrestler, Xavier Woods or Austin Creed, whichever way you know him, he's still going to be on a host and everything. It kind of really depends on his involvement with WWE.
Well, in his schedule too, because wrestling is like all year round thing, so it just depends on when he can appear.
Yeah, it's like 280 something days a year that you're performing majority of the time. So exactly. Ninja Warrior is available everywhere else, but this one sounds like they're going to be getting the only rights to broadcast it in America. So it is going to kind of change some things up and everything. But all in all, I am excited for G4. I don't know how it's going to change like their production. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of their stuff on YouTube and everything, so I'm only assuming that it's going to get better. Only going to get better and everything. So I'm excited about it, Derek. I can't wait for it.
I know. November 16th, the day after my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Derek.
I know.
happy. Guys, next up on our list is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy launch trailer rocks out to the motley crew. And, every time we talk about this, I'm just like, Derek, how this is so close, but like I keep forgetting that it is so close. You know what I mean?
Same. It's like, when you think about it, it's like a week and a half away. And it's like, how did we get to this point?
How, like who's messing with the time dials? I don't know what's going on here. Like it's absolutely crazy.
It's TVA.
Exactly. I need you to stop. Loki's somewhere in there. Or is it? I don't know. So guys, let's check out this trailer for the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the launch trailer. Oh, I'm not getting any audio. Hold on.
Hold that thought just a little longer.
Okay.
5,000 units to the Hellraiser who kills these so-called Guardians of the Galaxy.
We got this. Guys, huddle up! We'll win this together. Hit the music.
Huddle up.
Rejoice! You made it just in time for the miracle. I'll use Drax!
I do love the customization.
Yep.
Peter Quill, I am putting you and your crew under arrest for
Actually, can I call you back?
What?
That's like old school.
Drax, destroy!
Cadet Gold, what are you doing here?
Aren't you a little young for the Corps?
Aren't you a little old for that hairdo?
Oh man, look at Rocket. Mantis is in this?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I didn't know it either. Until
So the shepherds found fresh flock.
yeah. Which is ironic because they just announced who plays Adam Warlock in Guardians 3 this week too. So it's like it was lined up.
Adam Warlock is how to explain Adam Warlock in a concise way. He is the one that guards the Infinity Stones after the Infinity War. He's very, very powerful. They even
But can also use them.
Yep, he can also use them, and they actually hinted at him in the original Guardians of the Galaxy when at the very, was it the first one or the second one that they
Second one.
Yeah, they hinted at him in the second one and everything. So there's a lot to him. I'd suggest go looking it up. I'm sure there's YouTube videos that kind of explain it way better than I did. But I like every time I see the game, I'm just like, okay, like I'm bought in a little bit more. What are your thoughts on it, Derek? Are you excited for Guardians?
You know, and the more I look at it, because, you know, they've done a bunch of, like, videos, like, vignettes about, like, the characters and whatnot. So the more I just see of it, because I know they did, I think it was last week or the week before, we covered the gameplay and exploration videos. The more I get it, the more I'm loving the mechanics, and I'm loving, like, just the crazy zaniness world, because, you know, I go back to when Guardians 1 first came out in theaters, that how everyone was skeptical because it's a bunch of like C and D list characters that not a lot of people knew unless you were a hardcore comic person, and everyone was going to write it off as like, all right, this is going to be the first flop from the MCU, and it turned out to be one of the best movies of the summer, and a fan favorite franchise. So I'm excited to get more into the world because I don't know, like, outside of who we've seen them fight in the movies, I don't know much about the Guardians universe. So I'm excited to see characters and see if I have any favorites from that world.
Yeah, I am excited for it. When we saw more of the combat and everything, the traversal, like just the overall flow and feel of the game, the upgrading and all of that, I was like, okay, like I feel better about this because I was like, I don't want just another Marvel's Avengers. Like I don't want just another version of that with
100%,
you know, just Guardians clones or whatever, you know, and with like the tone that Guardians has, like you were talking about, like this is carrying that tone from the movies, you know, and just going to carry it forward. And, you know, we get to meet more of the people that they've, you know, been in their kind of, you know, their pool, their lore and everything. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it.
And that's, and you know, you hit it on the head too, like the tone of it, right? Because who knows if Guardians had flopped? I mean, if Guardians didn't do well, right? That we wouldn't be getting a game about it. But just think if it had a different tone, this game wouldn't be. It just had, it carries over because, what made the first and second movie special is like the soundtracks, and they're taking that and making it into the game as well. Like the music is just as important as the game and the motley crew of characters.
Yeah.
So,
and I've said from, the very first time that I watched Guardians that the soundtrack is as much of a character as the rest of the Guardians.
Oh, 100%.
So I can't wait for it. Guys, let us know what you think about the game. Are you getting it day one? Are you waiting on it just to see if it's going to be any good? We want to hear your opinions in the chat, in the comments, guys. Moving on to our next game that I am super stoked for. Pokemon Legends Arceus has got a new update, and Derek's going to take us through it.
So there was some, I don't want to say controversy, but some debate about how, it's not going to be truly open world like everyone thinks it is. It's going to be like giant hub areas. But now they've come out and confirmed that it will be more Monster Hunter-like style of exploration. And the update goes as this. The Pokemon Company has confirmed to Kotaku that Pokemon Legends Arceus will feature Monster Hunter-like exploration. This news comes after fans noticed that the in-game map features segmented areas like those seen in Pokemon Sword and Shield, rather than a wide-open map that indicates the game will be fully open world as previously believed. Quote, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, Jubilife Village will serve as the base for surveying missions. After receiving an assignment or a request and preparing for their next excursion, players will set out from the village to study one of the various open areas of the Hisui region. After they finish the survey work, players will need to return once more to prepare for their next task. We look forward to sharing more information about exploring the Hisui region soon. And that's from the Pokemon Company via Kotaku. As you see from the statement above, players will be visiting one of the various open areas of the Hisui region when completing specific quests and catching Pokemon. This quest completion and exploration style is most like Capcom's Monster Hunter series, which often tasks players with completing quests collected at a central village hub while exploring segmented wild areas. If you've not played a Monster Hunter game, but you have played Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield, think of the wild area. You had to enter the wild area and load into it before you were given free reign to explore it. It was sectioned off from other sections of the Galar region map. So, what I know, we saw a trailer on it with the new Scyther Evolution a couple of weeks ago. I know we're especially you are excited to get into this different style of Pokemon gaming. What does this do for you? Does this kind of like not really upset you, but kind of like temper more expectations for you, or what?
It does kind of like put a little damper on it, not gonna lie, but it's not like, oh my god, burn down the Pokemon Company, like
game's trash.
Yeah, like a lot of people I feel will be like that, but it's like, okay, if it is more like Monster Hunter World than Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I didn't play much of that, but I know a lot of people were not happy about a lot of those things.
Yeah.
If it's more like Monster Hunter World, I enjoyed like their hub world kind of thing, like it worked well. It wasn't just like kind of slapped together or anything. So if it's done right, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be, an issue. It does kind of damper the, the idea that, hey, this is the first open world Pokemon game you get to go. It does like kind of rain on that parade, not gonna lie. But it doesn't make me like I hate this and I'm not gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like this is
right. You're not gonna go out there and cancel your pre-order.
Yeah, which I don't have a pre-order, but it's the first time we're getting a lot of these things. They're trying something new. They're going out of their way to try something different, and that excites me. So it is worth trying, and like, okay, we want to open world, but we've got to work to get there, and we're finally getting a different story. It's it's kind of the same, archetype and all of that, but it's like we're getting a new world. We're getting, different things.
Yeah.
The Pokeballs are literally made out of wood, which is super dope.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think it like breaks anything for me. It does kind of like that kind of sucks, but overall I'm still really excited about it. Murdoch says Pokemon was after my time. You know, Pokemon for me is one of those games that I've played no telling how many hours. Like compare that to like Skyrim would be dwarfed, and I played hundreds upon hundreds, like 800 hours of Skyrim.
right.
So
well, you get to go dive in again. Was it next month when they release the anniversary edition?
Nope, never again. Never again. Amy says that she's definitely curious to see the gameplay for Guardians. Was doubling back over on our chat. And guys, you can watch us live each and every week at 9 p.m. Thursdays over on Twitch, for the people that are watching over on YouTube later. But Derek, it doesn't stop here. We got to get into what is and what forever will be the PlayStation Legacy news section. First up, old Jimmy Boy, Jim Joms, the Jimmy Dram, Jim Jims, and the Pie Emporium. Jim Ryan wants to open PlayStation to a much wider audience.
So, in a recent interview with website gamesindustry.biz, saw Jim Ryan talking about everything PlayStation, his career, what he hopes for the platform, like being able to bring it to a much wider audience, stemming from his hope that PS5 is the most successful PlayStation yet. The interview lasts just over 20 minutes, with Ryan discussing a variety of things like his career and trajectory towards his current position, but also about PlayStation, and it's clear that Ryan wants the platform to be more accessible than it is. Quote, I'd like to see a world where the games that we make at PlayStation can be enjoyed by many tens of millions of people, perhaps hundreds of millions of people. Ryan doesn't specify how he wants people to enjoy them. Interestingly, though, that is more likely by design, as PlayStation continues to open their first-party titles to PC. So, I take this as, being more accessible. I do think of the PC ports coming to PlayStation, but what I also think of is how, Xbox has gone the, Game Pass on everything, on all devices, like mobile, cloud, console, and PC. So I'm thinking that PlayStation's wanting to get into that model. They probably want it sooner rather than later, but however they can work it out, I think they want to build toward that model too, where whether it be PlayStation Now, whether it be a whole other service, entirely, they want to get to that model because that's the only other way. Other than licensing out your first-party titles and like what they did now, it was more an MLB call than it was a Sony call. But like how they did MLB this year, they finally gave in and put MLB The Show on Xbox this year, and will for the foreseeable future continue to do that. So unless they do it that way, the only other way I could see it is doing like some type of streaming subscription and putting it on PC, cloud, what have you.
Yeah, I think we definitely see a bigger push towards the Game Pass kind of competitor. Like PlayStation Now, like we see, like we talked about it last week, that The Last of Us 2 is coming to PlayStation Now. It's on there right now, but it only lasts through January and then it's gone. Unlike Game Pass, when Xbox puts a game that is, their own, it stays on there. It doesn't go away. It stays on the platform, and then any kind of like third parties or second parties that put their games on there, then it does have like a timetable that it works off of. But PlayStation Now isn't working that way. So I would love to see a version of that where it's like, okay, maybe it doesn't come in day and date. Like that would, that doesn't appeal to me as much. But if it's like, okay, after 6 months, let's say it comes to PlayStation Now. All right. 6 months, you might have some people that kind of hold out on that, but it's not the end of the world if they do, and for me, it's like, okay, once it's on there, it stays. That would be a better version of PlayStation Now. I also think, and we're going to talk about this here in just a little bit, 2 more stories, that it's not just a streaming side of things. I think we're going to be getting something along the mobile sites, which it might also be like xCloud, where it is.
Maybe.
And I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but
Yeah.
to hear Jim Ryan talking about it, I'm excited to see PlayStation move forward and move, further to reach more people. That's one thing that Xbox has done really, really well, is like they are willing to go out and push themselves. It's not just tied to the console. So will PlayStation follow suit? I don't know. I don't know how, we've only seen so much from Jim Ryan's leadership. So
Yeah.
Sean Layden, we talked about him last week. That he doesn't see that happening. So, but he's no longer the head honcho, so we don't really know. What's going to.
Yeah, I'll say he's no longer in the building. Like I said, like we talked about last week, he may get some insider knowledge, but he's not there on the ground level.
Yeah, his keys got taken away, guys. His keys got taken away. Let's talk about a new PlayStation exclusive. Jade Raymond's new PlayStation exclusive will include social elements and user-generated content. This one sounds interesting, Derek.
Yeah, so Jade Raymond has said that Haven's upcoming PlayStation exclusive game will include social elements and user-generated content, adding that it's being created by many of the devs behind the original Assassin's Creed. Earlier this year, it was announced that Raymond had started Haven Entertainment Studios, an independent company in Montreal currently working on an unannounced new IP for PlayStation. During an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, the studio boss delved a little further into what fans can expect from the game and exactly who's making it. Quote, "There are three things that are really exciting me, which are also pillars for the way that we're thinking about things. First is games as a social platform. The pandemic has proven that gameplay is the social glue that binds communities, especially for the younger generation. This is what you do and how you make friends and hang out. That is something that we really want to build and design for. While there are plenty of games around that include social elements in their design, the second concept of Raymond's list adds another layer to the direction in which the studio looks to be taking its new IP. Quote, "The second thing is thinking about the remix generation. It started a little while ago. There is this age of self-expression where we're designing our Nike ID shoes, we're reading our friends' blogs rather than what our professional journalists are writing, and I think that has continued to go further with things like TikTok. That's another thing that we're thinking about as at the hearts of this IP. It is beyond user-generated content. It is about taking that self-expression and remix concept to the next level. PlayStation has seen a number of its previous exclusives focus on similar ideas to some degree in the past. Games such as Little Big Planet have allowed fans to create and play user-generated levels alongside one another, while the most recent release of Dreams scaled up the concept further by granting users the ability to create fully fledged games, mechanics, art, and more across its creation platform. Raymond didn't go into too much detail surrounding how Haven's upcoming game will take shape. However, the studio head was keen to note that she's excited to be able to create a new IP from scratch, and in particular one that, quote, can last for generations and become meaningful for people on a deeper level. Quote, "But how do we create an IP that has that depth, but it is designed to be owned by the fans from the start? When we created Assassin's Creed, we were really thinking about creating an IP that can be owned by creative teams in the future. We thought if we create a framework of anything that takes place in a moment in history and has the assassins behind it, that will be consistent with the brand so teams can evolve that and own it. Now what we're thinking about is creating an IP where it's not just professional teams, but it is designed to be owned by the fans and can evolve through that." So, I'll say the last one is just touching up some stuff. So what are your thoughts about how they're approaching this IP? Because we keep hearing stuff, thrown out like it seems like they can't shut up about, their new favorite toy, which is great, but you don't want to overpromise or overhype your product, without even seeing a concept art, without seeing any kind of trailer or any kind of, this was what happened with Beyond Good and Evil 2. This is why it's still not even an inkling yet, because they're trying to put the cart before the horse. But I think it's nice to get this out there to let fans be excited for something.
Peter Molyneux comes to mind.
Okay.
Fable
Legends.
Yeah, Fable anything.
Also
like Project. What was that? It had to do with the Connect, Project Miko or something like that.
Something.
The thing that gets me with a lot of developers and all of that, they've got big visions, but when it comes down to it, it's just like movies. You run out of time, you run out of budget. That's how how world works and everything. You know, I'm excited that they are building, you know, a franchise that can last a very long time. Assassin's Creed has lasted a very long time. Went through several different iterations, has went through several different developers, you know, that literally,
and if rumors are true, they're going to go through another iteration in the near future.
Yeah. And the thing that gets me with this is like, you can say a lot.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you are able to deliver a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Like, saying and doing are two different things. Like, you can tell me that the sky is blue, but you have to prove it to me, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of developers have issues with making it stick.
Right.
You know?
Now, the counterpoint to that, though, is the fact that it's a PlayStation exclusive. Now, we don't know how much funding Sony will be behind this, or how much influence they will have over this, but we know, we've seen the track record with Sony. They will give you the time you need as long as they see a great ROI. You know, Dreams is still TBD. You know, it's probably not as successful with the years, with the time that they put in with that, but majority of the time it hits, with especially when they are given the amount of time they need.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's like, okay, your game can do all of this. I remember Destiny 1, they said it's going to be, you know, a 10-year game.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Destiny 2 has lasted a lot longer, but a lot of that, you know, thankfully Bungie got out from Activision. You know, they've gotten out of 2 deals with people, which is kind of funny.
I know.
You know, but you know, just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. So you know, hopefully, you know, clearly Jade has worked on things that, you know, have been able to do this, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen automatically. And in the world of movies and TV shows and everything, it's better to show it than say it. Show me, don't tell me is how I work.
Show me the money.
Yeah. So show me, don't tell me, Jade, because I want to see him successful, you know, but stop.
100%. And it's like with anything with business, it's like you always have investors and higher ups to answer to. So you can say all these things, but at the end of the day, they're going to get antsy. And it's like, when are we going to make our money back? When is this idea that you've been touting for years going to come out? When am I going to see an ROI? Which leads me to my next question. How, like, forget when the game actually releases. How soon do you think, like, give me just a ballpark year for how soon do you think we will see concept or gameplay from their game?
See or launch?
No, just see it. Like, the first unveiling of this game.
I think we see 2023. We see something. It launches in 2025. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah,
I'm about to say that I would go there because, I mean, from the way she's talking and the way, like, I know they're still staffing up. Yeah. Like, I could see, like, maybe at the very earliest, like, Game Awards at the end of next year. Yeah, like 2022. Like, we get the first inkling of it, and then we see more of a full-blown trailer of it in 2023. But I think I agree with you. 2023. At the absolute earliest is what I think. Yeah, you know, we'll see maybe some concept art leaks next year, but we don't see. I think the first trailer we see of it is in 2023.
Yeah, and Jade got brought on since we've been doing the show, so it is very, very like recent.
Yeah, so, it's still green.
Yeah, so it's not. You know, like they're trying to build up and everything. So I'm hopefully optimistic, but only time will tell. Next bit of PlayStation news. PlayStation makes another move towards expanding their mobile branch by hiring former Apple arcade content boss.
So a new era of PlayStation is clearly upon us, with Jim Ryan wanting to really bring PlayStation everywhere to millions of people. And part of that dream is strengthening Sony's mobile offerings, which is why it seems Sony has just hired former Apple Arcade content boss Nicola Sebastiani to lead the charge on bringing PlayStation IP to mobile. The news comes from website VGC, who spotted an update to Sebastian's LinkedIn profile, stating that he had started with PlayStation back in July after having been with Apple for over 7.5 years. Back in April, we spotted that Sony was hiring for the position, and now seeing that it was Sebastiani who filled the role makes perfect sense. Mobile games aren't always what players are hoping to hear about, but it can't be denied that amount of great content that continues to exist on Apple Arcade, and no doubt Sebastiani was instrumental in that. The first thing that came to mind when I read this was what we talked about last week in the Quick Hits about how Apple, in 2 years ago, making more money than Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Activision combined, and a lot of that's probably stemmed from the Apple Arcade.
Yep.
So Sony probably saw an opportunity when they saw his name pop up, and it's like, oh, you spearheaded this revenue just 2 short years ago? What can you do for us in this space now?
Yeah. And my hope for mobile, okay, I would like a streaming thing like xCloud and everything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't want to get something like what Nintendo has done with their mobile side of things. Yes, some of them have been successful, especially with what is the sword, the game that the guy keeps putting in Smash Brothers all the time, starts with an F.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
Fire Emblem. My God, Fire Emblem has made money hand over fist as a mobile product and everything. But you look at like Mario Run Mario, whatever it was called, Mario Run. It didn't have that long of a shelf life.
Neither did Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Pocket Camp did a little bit better than Mario Run, but like it kind of faded fast. And that's the thing with like mobile games. Like you look at successful mobile games, Temple Run. Temple Run is still going on because its concept works. And they put out different iterations of that game. Like you could still get different versions of Temple Run right now, not just the style of game, but I'm talking about literally Temple Run. Flappy Bird.
I was just about to bring that up as a joke, but yeah.
You know, Flappy Bird. And you got Doodle Jump. Back in the day, Doodle Jump was so fun. I don't know if you ever played Doodle Jump.
I heard about it.
Really good game. One that people are not going to really remember, but Robot Unicorn Attack. Love that game.
Okay.
Yeah. I played it on my iPad before conducting back in the day. It was made by Adult Swim, and it was a ton of fun. Yeah.
That makes all sense now.
But for PlayStation to do well on this, it's got to be kind of a mix of things. Like if you're wanting to bring games, like it just can't be like a cash grab or just like, oh, well, you see PlayStation IPs on the iPhone now. It's like, you know, a question for you.
It can't just be ports over or like light ports, you know.
Question for you. Do you see Sony partnering with Apple and Apple Arcade through this?
It's easy to say no, but I think they can make it work. And I think the mediator in this will be, or I think a third party will get involved. And I think that third party, well, actually, no, never mind. I take that back before I say anything. So I do think it, and if only to spite Epic Games, you know, especially like I know they're making buku-doodles of money. Epic Game, like just Fortnite alone has made buku-doodles of money regardless, but mainly on PlayStation because that's why they get all like a lot of the exclusive pack deals with PlayStation. I think Apple's like, hey Sony, we can make you more money than Fortnite does.
True. And like you got to remember, Fortnite Epic was willing to give Sony $200 million.
That's true.
You know,
that is very true. I forgot we reported on that. And also, and you know, like Sony can make those deals happen, like especially with the money that they can generate, like with their IPs. Just thinking about it, the first thing that comes to mind is like how long had Activision and Microsoft had a great relationship, especially with Call of Duty?
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden in 2015, when Black Ops 3 came out, Sony snatched that deal and was like, all the content's coming first to PlayStation.
Yep.
We're going to have all the marketing with Call of Duty now. We're going to have this ugly run over traffic cone of a PS4 with Black Ops 3.
Yep.
But we're going to have this exclusivity deal with them now, or a marketing rights deal. And if they can get Activision, it's not out of the realm of possibility. They can strike a deal with Apple.
Yeah. It'll be interesting if they do, because they also don't play well with platform holders,
right?
And that because Apple Arcade is a platform, but if they're splitting revenue, this might be a way to better help the revenue share compared to just putting their games on the store, the Apple Store and everything. Going a little bit further on that, we see, Nintendo has already done this. Xbox is doing it on its own way and everything. You don't see any Xbox games other than through xCloud. This might be a way for Sony to come in and really deliver some good game content that that changes the landscape. Who knows what we might get on this.
Exactly.
And
again, time will tell,
because everybody has a phone. Everybody has a smartphone.
Oh yeah.
And if you hook them there, then you can get them to buy a console.
100%. 100%. It's all like a reciprocal marketing tool. It's like, oh, you love this game? Well, go play the they for whatever reason put Uncharted on mobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you love this, you love the universe of Uncharted, right? Well, go check out these 5 awesome games that we put out on PlayStation.
Dude, what if we got Uncharted Golden Abyss, like they brought
that? Yeah, and with some of the mechanics that would work on mobile.
Yep. I would hate to see them cannibalize my baby, though, to push mobile games, but not a lot of people played Uncharted Golden Abyss. But anyway, moving to our next bit of news from PlayStation. God of War Ragnarok will support full localization for 11 languages across 13 voiceover tracks. I love this.
It was so great to see this. And just looking at the list, it's so has depth to it.
Yep.
So God of War Ragnarok is still without a release date, and that's really all fans want to hear at this point, after the last trailer gave us some insight into the narrative. But the latest news is still good to report, as Santa Monica Studio has stated that God of War Ragnarok will support full localization for 11 different languages across 13 voiceover tracks. The list of languages with full localization support is as follows: Arabic, English, French, German, Greek, Italian, Japanese, Polish, Portuguese European, Portuguese Brazilian, Russian, Spanish European, Spanish Latin American. That is not the full list of supported languages, though, as a number of languages will be supported through text only and not voiceover. The list is as follows: Chinese simplified, traditional Chinese, Croatian, Czech, Dutch, Hungarian, Korean, Thai, and Turkish. So, this is sort of like a semi-quick, newsworthy item, but it's a lot of great, I obviously, I wait to see the accessibility list they're going to have for Ragnarok when it gets closer to release.
Yeah.
But this is, an impressive list of languages, because, a lot of the voiceover text is like your typical, your Spanish, your Japanese, your European, like a few European languages, but seeing all this is impressive.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited that more people are going to get to experience the story. That's the biggest thing. The more people get to experience the awesome story of God of War, and the summation of the Norse, duology, as you will. But guys, we're not done with PlayStation news. Because Derek's going to take us through the PlayStation Quickies.
So, starting off, Sony unveils perfect for PS5 Bravia XR TVs and will include auto HDR tone mapping. The PS5 could be getting Apple Music in the near future, so kind of lends into your will Sony have an Apple deal. Sony's Jim Ryan says the pipeline of games coming to PS5 is the, quote, strongest we've ever had for any of our consoles, end quote. Sony celebrates PSVR's 5th anniversary and confirms free bonus PSVR games for PS Plus November lineup. Ebha McMahon has penned a song for, quote, a remake of a PlayStation game due for December reveal. So, Game Awards? Question mark. Rumor, content update may be coming for Returnal. New PS5 game from London studio could feature procedural worlds and content. And lastly, a sad one, Solar Ash has been delayed until December 2nd.
Now, real quick, I want to hit two things in PlayStation quick hits, or quickies. The PlayStation 5 celebrating 5 years. Congrats, PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
The PSVR. That's what I meant. 5 years. Yeah. You know, there was a time where you would get PSVR games with your PlayStation Plus. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, it's true. They were doing that for a time.
Yep, there was a time. And then the Ebha McMahon, I was listening to, I want to say it was Kind of Funny Games Daily, or it might have been PS I Love You. I'm not 100% sure, but they were talking about this, and she's a Scottish singer. She like they do, like, she does like songs that are in the actual Scottish language and everything.
Right.
So it's like, if it's a remake of a PlayStation game, what would fit into that kind of feel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I nothing pops into my head that's a PlayStation game that's set other than the Order 1886 or 66 or whatever it is. But
86,
But that's in London, like that's in England.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe it's not really, like, maybe we're reading too into it. Maybe like it features the music, but it's not in that region. You know what I mean? Like it. Because someone had thrown out maybe it's a Metal Gear Solid remake, and it's like, I guess, but that would make more sense for a Metal Gear Solid 4 remake, since that was a PS3 only game.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, guys. Let us know what you think on the remake side of things, because, Legends of Dragoon.
Maybe.
That's an old school game.
Yeah.
It would fit a little bit more.
What was now I had it and then it went again. They did 2 of them. Jared Petty always talked about these RPGs. Oh my goodness! It was like whole like, I think they were JRPGs. They were like old school, like hardcore JRPGs that he Suikoden.
Oh, okay.
So. I know those are more Japanese centric, but maybe they had Scottish tunes with it. I don't know.
I don't know. But we want to hear your ideas on that, Derek. I know you're itching. I know you're ready to get at it, because
I'm ready for. I'll say I'm ready for that main course. The PlayStation quickies were the appetizer. I'm ready for the main course, sir.
He ate his dessert early, guys. So here's Derek with the quick hits. That's not where I want to go. There we go. Here's Derek with the quick hits.
So to start off, Biomutant is also as I mistyped that. Biomutant is also has a game trial available for PS5 and PS4. Bungie has stated they will vault the Forsaken expansion with the arrival of the Witch Queen. Yakuza Like a Dragon sequel has been confirmed. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard hits 10 million copies shipped worldwide. Rumor, Far Cry 7 could take the series in a more online-oriented direction. Warzone Season 6 will be the last on the Verdansk map. EA exec can't see FIFA dropping loot boxes even amid potential law changes. Following that, EA Sports Football Club could be the new name for FIFA, suggesting trademark applications. Following that, FIFA reportedly wants to charge EA $1 billion with a B every 4 years for its name. Next up, Diablo 4 has a new director. Eidos Montreal adopts a 4-day work week. Hallelujah. And the only other thing was a smaller indie studio that developed this. So seeing a triple A studio do this is exciting. Next up, Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy officially announced and will contain remasters of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas and will launch this year. Following that, however, the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition will cost $70 on PS5, according to a retail listing. Following that, Rockstar Games adding special gear to GTA Online in honor of GTA 3's 20th anniversary. Marvel's Avengers adding paid XP boosts despite Square Enix saying it won't happen. Well, this is one for you, Zach. Oh, that one was for you, Zach. The next one, Codemasters developing its, quote, most ambitious and biggest game in over 10 years. Fall Guys could try to revive a scrapped idea because of Squid Game. Ubisoft will delist the original Rocksmith early next week. Update from last week, Monster Hunter Rise on PC won't have cross-save or cross-play with Switch. Originally, they didn't. It was up in the air. They said don't count on it, but it's still a possibility. Well, now they have officially confirmed it's not happening, unfortunately. Alan Wake Remastered looks to be coming to the Switch as a European ratings board has it listed on there. Epic Games reportedly considering making a Fortnite movie. Following that, Fortnite finally admits its imposters mode was inspired by Among Us. Call of Duty Vanguard's writers hope to make this a trilogy series. Following that, Vanguard items have been added to Warzone Season 6 Battle Pass. Following that, Warzone to get a kernel-level anti-cheat called Ricochet. Destiny 2, some Halloween events going on in some live service games. First up, Destiny 2 Festival of the Lost is going on right now until November 2nd. Overwatch's Halloween Terror 2021 event is now live and will be going on until November 2nd. Apex Legends Monsters Within event is now live. Rocket League Batman Haunted Hallows car skins are out now. State of Decay studio founder Jeff Strain starts a new studio called Possibility Space. Final Fantasy XIV surpasses 24 million players and becomes the most profitable Final Fantasy game in the series. Avowed reportedly has destructible environments and is, quote, deep into pre-production. Ghost Recon Frontlines closed beta delayed until further notice. Next up, new Star Wars game could be announced on December 14th. The Binding of Isaac Repentance could be released as soon as next month. Abandoned app will be updated with, quote, new trailers and content, says Blue Box Studios. It Takes Two has sold 3 million copies worldwide. And finally, Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition coming to PS5 and Series X and S physically on November the 12th.
Congrats to It Takes Two for 3 million copies sold, not shipped, sold.
Yes.
And with, Biohazard Resident Evil 7 shipping 10 million, which is awesome as well. That means there's it's still selling, Derek. It's still selling.
Oh yeah,
like after all this time, it's still selling, which is a testament.
Well, I'm
to
sure
the
with
game.
Village coming out, they wanted to catch up and probably bought Biohazard.
Yeah, exactly. Which does lead into RE8. Three that I want to hit real quick. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy officially announced. Was not expecting it to come out this year.
Well, there had been like some rumors and suggesting that it was going to happen in November. Supposedly before GTA 5 for the PS5 and Series X port got delayed till March. It was supposed to be like the same day or around the same time as that. But then they delayed that. They delayed GTA 5, and now it's like, hey, we're gonna have something GTA related. And this got officially confirmed only because so many leaks happened last week. Like it was leaking more than a broken faucet, man. Like all the screenshots, all this. So they're just like, boom, here it is. We're not gonna give you a date just yet, but here it is officially a thing.
Yeah, which I'm excited. Vice City still my favorite of all the Grand Theft Autos. Yeah, I love 5, but 5 has flipping overstayed its welcome. Let's just say that.
100, like Skyrim.
Yes. Marvel's Avenger is the other one. My God, when they announced this, I was just like, You're a liar. You sit on a throne of lies. Like it's so ridiculous. It's so
well,
ridiculous.
and I get it. You're like, all right, and I'm not defending it by any means, but it's a twofold thing with this, right? Like, you knew the other shoe was going to drop because they have been trying to do such goodwill over this year because, you know, it came out shaky launch. The roadmap was pretty much just thrown away and kicked down the road until they were ready. And then they finally started dropping stuff like War for Wakanda was fantastic. You know, the Hawkeye event was great. Like, they had been doing such good things, but you knew in the back of your head, it's like, this is Square Enix. This other shoe is going to drop eventually. And here it is. Now, the other thing you could say is like, all right, paid XP boost. Like, yeah, they said they weren't and they're going to, but I think they want to make their revenue back because, you know, the lack of sales definitely hurt them until recently. Plus, all the content, like, I thought they would literally charge people for the War for Wakanda expansion, considering how much extra stuff they added, and they didn't. So, with all the content being free, you knew they were going to have to make up that money somewhere.
Yeah, it's okay. If you're going to put microtransactions in the game, which they already have, you know, like cosmetic microtransactions, don't make yourself a liar. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself out to be a liar. It's like, okay, we said this, but now because we need to make money, it's like, you know, if you would have done your game plan, you know, your roadmap, you probably would have made money. There's so many different things.
Right.
It just annoys me when companies go back on their word because it's like,
oh yeah,
you know, I was always raised, a man is only good as a word, you know?
Oh yeah. And at the end of the day, that's all we have is our word.
Yeah.
And it goes like an example. Sony, like people threw up their hands in frustration when, you know, they gave a date for Horizon Forbidden West, and then they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to charge money for the upgrade." And people are like, in this blog post, you said it was gonna be a free upgrade," and then Sony had to go backtrack and eat their words and basically say, "All right, we're gonna honor it because we said this. After that, no more free upgrades. You're gonna have to pay for them." So it's just a matter of it's a matter of what they call in the debate field take integrity.
Yep, and it just annoys me. It just annoys me. But the exciting thing, will end the show on a good note, is this one: the Star Wars game, a new one could be coming out. I mean, announced December 14th. I'm gonna call it here, and guys, I'm gonna call it right now. This is gonna be this. You can point at me and you could say, "You were wrong, Zach. You're a dummy. You're a dummy. Okay, here it is. They're going to announce Jedi Fallen Order 2. If they announce anything, that is what it's going to be.
And, you know, it's been 2 years since that great game has launched, so it's time to announce a sequel because, you know, they've been mum on that. They did hint at it's like, oh, it's sold well enough to do a series out of this, hint, hint, wink, wink, but haven't said anything beyond that.
Yep.
It's weird because it's 5 days. Like, at first I thought, okay, they're going to announce it at Game Awards, but then the date is like, it's 5 days after Game Awards. So it's like, are you going to just do a random date? Like, could you not get a Game Awards spot? But I don't know. But it's exciting that we're at the end of the year, like right before Christmas, you get a gift. It won't be something you could have right now, but it's something that you can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, I'm calling it. It's going to be Jedi Fallen Order 2. It's going to be that. Promise you. I promise you. There you go, guys. Episode whatever number this is of the Nerd Cave News in the books. Lots of great topics. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite was, because we want to know. We want to know.
We're here for you.
Yep. Fecal Fetus Floyd enjoyed it this evening. Always a great show. Always enjoy having one of our lovely sponsors with the Papa Squat Porta Potties company.
I'm glad someone's enjoying themselves tonight.
Oh yeah,
So.
oh yeah. I found that little nugget, no pun intended, in the.
I was about to say, you found the corn in there, didn't you?
Yeah, the corn in there, and I was like, "This has got to go. I got to do this one. So, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to go over to patreon.com/nerdcave network if you want to support us, get awesome content delivered to you hot and fresh off the oven. That's where it goes, guys. And it helps us keep the lights on and keeps Derek in crop top polos.
Even though I'm in my Frieza shirt tonight, but
it keeps him in crop top polos. Keep with the bit, man. Keep with the bit. All right, guys. We love you. We will see you all on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. This has been Zach.
Floyd.
And Fecal Fetus Floyd. Y'all have a blessed week.